Hi guys, and welcome to the first part in this video tutorial series, and in this particular episode we're going to be covering the modelling of our powerbox. Okay, the first thing that you're going to need to have is a reference image in one of your viewports, something to work from. Okay, it's best not to work blind. You always should have a reference image to work from. This gives you a better idea of scale. It's amazingly easy to get it wrong on the scale, so if you use reference you're always going to be right. Now the way I would normally do this was I would go over to my modifier panel and click on a plane and put it into my front viewport here. Then I would go up to the material editor at the top here, click on that, it will bring up this menu, and I would go down to the M on the diffuse, click on that, browse to the bitmap of the image that I'm after, and then apply that to the plane itself, scale it down to the size that I wanted, and then model from that. However, I'm going to cheat a little bit here, as in preparation for this tutorial series I made the powerbox model in the first place, so we're going to use that as our reference image. So the way to bring that in is you'd go over to the file menu, come down to import, you'd browse to the TGC tutorial folder. You'll find this on the forums. Just search under my name and you'll find the powerbox tutorial. Download the images, the reference images, and the model itself. You're going to be looking for the powerbox.obj. Just click on open. It'll bring up this menu here. Just click import. After a few seconds you'll have the model in your viewports for you to work from. So for this we're just going to you're using it purely as a reference image. So in the top viewport all I'm going to do is just move it back from this center space here so that I can work in this space but I can still see the model in the viewports. Okay, the first thing that you're going to need to do now is go back over to the modifier menu. I'm going to click on box to create a box, and I'm going to start in this right hand top corner of the bottom part of the model. Left click, hold down the mouse and drag out over to the right hand side bottom corner. Let go of the mouse button, push it out, look in your left viewport till you're happy roughly with the scale of it, and left click again. Okay, now you'll see that you've created this box here. Now as it stands there's absolutely nothing that we can do with this box other than change its size, and we need to do a little bit more with that, so what we've got to do is convert it over to an editable poly. Okay, there's two ways within Max to do this. One is to right click on the object itself and it'll bring up this menu that you just saw flash up there. Unfortunately my version's playing up tonight, so we're going to do it the other way, which is you go over to the top, click on this particular bar here, and it's brought up the box, and then in the modifier list you can drop down the menu and you will find edit poly in there. I've got it on a shortcut here, and that brings that in. And now what that does is it makes the object editable, so I can go into the vertex mode and this will bring up little blue dots on the corner of each polygon. You've got edges, so you can work on the edges. Just show the edges there, so you can see the edges here of all the areas. You've got border, polygon, and the final one is element. Okay, we're going to be working in the polygon mode for now, so we're going to click on polygons. It highlights it in red here, and then I click on the top polygon and it'll turn red, and you can see in the viewports that it's turned red. Now from here we're just going to drop the menu down a little bit, go down to the extrude part here. Now if you click on the extrude button here you'll be able to pull up the handles and extrude this polygon up, but I prefer to do it with this little button here on the settings menu. Click it and it'll bring up this menu here, and it gives me the option here to adjust the extrusion height. So I'm just going to set this to 10 for now and click OK, and now you'll see that it's jumped up and extruded this polygon up by 10 units. Okay, that's not enough for what we want to do here, but it gives us a good start. So from there I'm just going to click onto this handle in the y-axis and pull it up until I'm happy with the height, which is around about there. Let go of the left mouse button and you'll now see it's extruded that up. So that's given us 2 sections to this polygon now. And then we're going to do exactly the same again. We're going to extrude again one more time. And it's going to come up again, extrude at 10. We'll just click OK at that. Now this time it's come up too high. So all we're going to do is just drag it down until we're happy with the height of it again. There. And now that's given us these first 3 extrusions. Okay, the next one will be the top one, but we're going to leave that for a moment. I'll show you why in a while. And we're going to pick on the front 2 polygons, the top one and the bottom one. And we're going to extrude those out again using the settings option. Just click OK and it'll bring them out to 10. Now, as you can see in the left viewport now, they've come out far too far. We're just going to bring this in by eye until we're happy roughly with where it wants to be, and click out of it. As you'll see now, we've got the basic shape here, but if you look on the top polygon here, you'll see that we've got an extra edge across the top here, which we don't want, because we now want to extrude this top out to make this point here like a little roof on it. So we need to get rid of this edge. Now we could just go into edge mode and delete this edge, but it would still leave these edges here and also the vertex at each side. So we're going to do it a slightly different way. We're going to go into vertex mode. In fact, let me just change the colour of this model so we can see it a little bit easier, make it a little bit lighter. So now you should better see these blue dots. These are the vertexes. Yeah, and what we're going to do is we're going to weld this one and this one to the front 2 polygons. To the front 2 vertexes. So we're just going to bring this menu up a little bit. Go to target weld, click on that. We'll take this back one first, click on it, and then click on the front one, and you'll see it jump forward. And then we're going to do the same on this one. 1, 2, and it comes forward. Click off target weld, and you'll now see that we've got a single polygon on the top, and it's created a triangle here and a triangle here. Now normally you should try to avoid mixing triangles and polygons, but on a small simple model like this it's not going to hurt it. It's only as you get to the more complicated models that you need to worry about mixing polygons, tris and quads. You just don't worry about it at this early stage. Okay, now we're going to go back up to the top here, back into polygon mode, and click on this top polygon again. Go back into the front viewport, and we're going to extrude it up again. And again, just allow it to come in at 10. Click OK, and then from there we're just going to drop it down till it's about the right height, which is around about there. And now in the top viewport, what we're going to do now is scale this polygon down so that we leave this extra polygon on the top there. So we click on the scale uniform and then just drag this handle in until we've got a nice narrow polygon on the top there. And what that's done now is given us this slight curve on the top. So instead of us having a sharp point, we've just got a bit of a curve there, which is just going to look slightly better in game. And that is basically the shape of the box completed. So the next stage is that we're going to have to work on the door. So the way to do that is that we're going to go to the front polygon again, and this time just going to move it forward, but as I move it forward I'm going to hold down shift, and what that'll do is drag out a separate polygon, and it'll come up with this clone menu here, and it's going to ask me, do I want to clone it to an object or to an element, and I want to make this a separate object, so I'm going to click on the object mode and I'm going to change the name of it to door. Click OK. And now it's created that as a separate object there. Now we're still highlighted on the box at the moment, so we're going to click off the box click onto the front one, which is now, as you can see, is door. Okay, they're both the same colour at the minute, so I'm going to change the colour of that to something slightly different, a nice light green, to make it easier for us to see. We've got two separate parts here. We've got the actual main box area itself, and now the second one, which is the door. Okay, what we're going to do here now is we're going to go into edge mode, border mode. Click on one of these edges and it'll highlight all of the edges on the border of this model. And from here, we're just going to drag these edges back so they come towards the actual front edge of the box. So in the left hand viewport, I'm going to hold down shift as I do it and just drag this back till it's near enough to the back of the to the front of the main box there. And now you can see that it's near enough, touching that back edge there. But what it's done is it's left us with no back to it. So while we've still got that edge highlighted there, we're just going to go down the menu to this button here, cap, and when we click that, it just applies a polygon onto the back there. So that now gives us our door. Okay, the problem being now is it's just that little bit too big, so we're going to go over into the vertex mode. I'm going to take these top four vertexes and just move them down very slightly, so there's a little bit of a gap at the top. And do the same at the bottom, just raise them up a little bit, so there's a little bit of a gap, and the same left and right. Okay, so that's your door basically done. So now we're going to click off that once again and go back to our main box. And this time we're going to go back into polygon mode again, click on this front polygon here, drag down the menu to inset, and I'm going to click on the settings option, and I'm going to change that to 1 for this. Click onto group and click OK. And as you can see now, it's brought a little border all the way around it, a bit like a picture frame, which is working perfectly for us there, so we're quite happy with number 1. And then we're going to go back to extrude again, click on the settings button, and it's going to jump out at 10. And what we're going to do this time is change that to -7. Click OK, and that's dropped that back inside the box. Okay, that was a little bit too far, number 7. So what we'll do is we'll look in the side viewport, we'll just bring that forward a little bit. Okay, and that's our box finished. So now all we need to do is we need to make the 2 locks on the door. So we're going to go back up to the top here, again back onto our basic primitives, and we're going to pick cylinder this time. I'm going to change the sides down on it to 12, the height segments down to 1, and I'm just going to drag out the cylinder by holding down the left mouse button, release it, bring it back, look in the left viewport, again you'll see the size of it coming out there, click again, and we're just going to change the colour of this as well so it makes it a little bit easier to see that it's a separate object. I'm going to move that forward so it comes just slightly past our box. Now it's at the side of it at the moment, but I've done that so that we can see nice and easily. And we're going to change this one over as well to an editable poly, so I'm just going to add that editable poly on there. Click on polygon mode highlight this back face, and we're just going to delete that because it's not going to be seen. It's going to be inside the model, so it's not going to be seen at all. And if I go back into the front viewport here, click on this front polygon, and then we go up to uniform scale again, go into the center of this, hold down the left mouse button, and just drag down a little bit. Just brings it in. You can now see on here it's just a little bit of a lock shape. And it's a little bit too big at the moment, so what we'll do is, while we've still got the front polygon highlighted, we're just going to drag that back till it's around about the right size for a lock. Click off the polygon, and then we're just going to move the whole object forward. Until basically the back edge of that is just sat inside the front edge of the door. I'll go back into the front viewport, and I'm going to change over to wireframe to make it easier for you to see. And now you can see in the background the two locks there, so we can use those as reference to bring this over to roughly in the right place. And as you can see, it's far too big at the moment, so again we're just going to go to a uniform scale, hold down the left mouse button, pull downwards with the mouse. Now it's decided to play up on me. Pull down again until we get it around about the right sort of size. Just around about there. Put it roughly into place. And then while I'm holding down Shift, I'm just going to drag it over to the next one. So this is going to clone it as a separate object again. So I'm going to clone it as a copy. Click OK. And then just scale this one down a little bit. And that's it. That's basically our powerbox modelled. So as you can see, we've got the basic model we've just done in the front here, and in the rear is the reference model. Okay, they're round about the same. Now I just click off that, highlight those, and I'll bring it to the front just so you can get a side-by-side comparison of the two. And there you go. As you can see, we've got our power box, the door, and the two locks. Okay, so that is the whole of the modelling process completed for this. So what you need to do before you move on to the next section is do this over and over again, build it over and over again till you can build it on your own without having to follow me. And once you've done that, then it's time to move on to the next section. And part 2 is where we're going to be covering the actual building of the textures for this model. Okay, so I shall see you in part 2. Thanks for watching.